Good evening, gentlemen. Today we will have a bit different stream. Basically, I asked, one of my league mates asked me to help. Then I thought like, okay, let's do it like on stream. So I will analyze one replay of him, Mike, and one replay of Jakob. He just sent it to me. Also, it's Catalonia, so that's a great track to analyze. But first, start with Mike's Kyalami. This is, I think, for the ERA license server. I put the inputs right at the middle, so we can see. And he said left 4 is our lap. Let's start. Let's watch the replay first without interfering. Okay, it's not a bad lap at all, but there were some crucial issues, so let's start again. I will do turn 1, then revert back if there's need to, but I think turn 1 was decent. The braking point is at 100. He did trail brake decently. So okay, I think it will be easier in the other way. Okay. So first issue is track usage. He left a bit of track here, not much. It's decent. Also, I saw that he is like not like the transition between brake and throttle is a bit meh. Like he keeps the throttle a bit on during braking, just jump off a bit earlier, but not bad at all. And there was some nice trail braking, but I think he should have been a tiny bit better if he would not cut the apex, just keep it around the white line, and trail brake just a tiny bit more, so he could be back on the throttle way more aggressively, because if you rotate it more during trail braking, you will have rather like this angle here, and you can be back on the throttle a bit earlier. But T1 was decent, so nothing to really complain. Make sure to not cut too much of this curve because it can upset the car. Hello, Pit Viper. Definitely not cut this one because this one can you see my mouse? Okay, you can. Because this one really upsets the car. The exit, he went wide enough, that's fine. But track usage was not perfect at the exit, but this corner was decent. Like, he could be back on the throttle before the apex. He should have been on the throttle fully here because, as you can see, he did have enough rotation and not used all of the track, which would be up to this point with your right tires. But the first 3 or 4 corners, because first corner is in the straight, but never mind, were okay. Next one was not that good though. I will let it roll. So the thing is here, you keep it on the left fully, so left tires here, and the braking and turning in point is where the red-white strip has this edge here. You can see, like, let me go a bit closer. You can see there's a small shrinking in the red-white strip. Basically, you keep your left tires there until that. And at that point, you do a very sharp turn in and some trail braking, which I don't even know the Camus wheels, but I think Ike is quite alright with them, so should be okay. Alright. Okay, so keep it on the left until you have to turn in, because basically right now you are giving up track space, but you are not really turning in because you are facing that direction, not that direction. So keep it on the left. Like this line. And then you do a quite sharp turn in with around 50% braking. You should not brake more because this is a high-speed corner and that will upset your car. And you can see the result here is that he A, misses the apex, B, goes a bit wide during the exit due to he wanted to back on the throttle because he felt like he has enough, slowed down enough and rotated enough, but he barely made the exit of the corner, which upsets the car a bit. I usually try to keep my left tires here. So it should be later turn in, but a bit like unsettling the car a bit with a brake, then stabilizing it with going back on throttle before the apex and having the exit here. The next corner, he left a lot of on the right. He left a lot of space on the right. This was due to 2 things. A, he went so wide at the rear and had to gather the car back. He did not have much time to go right and still set up the corner, because you basically want to be parallel to the line somewhere here, and your right tire will be right at the edge of the track, because we will want to brake around halfway between the 50 board and the starting of the red-white strip, which is here, and the right tire will be here when we do that. Like, we can do a slight turn in before, but he was like on this line, not on this line. At the exit, if you do that line, you can use a slight bit more at the exit, but just make sure to come back before the AstroTurf ends. But this was a decent exit. This corner was surprisingly decent. It's a bit easy in the Beamer, although we can hear that his tires are screaming a lot. So if you do the line like keeping a bit more to the left and suddenly turning right, then we don't scrape the front that long during corner. Here, track usage. There's a lot of space at the right, like more than one car width. Your car should be here, not here. So I know it's a blind corner, but you have to learn going corners blindly. So you have more than enough time to prepare the car. So keep going right here, this way, and turn in at the top of this hill. Then you have a much wider entry. And another huge issue, he was back on the throttle while still rotating the car. That introduces understeer. If we go above the car, we can see that he is far from finishing this corner, like not even halfway. And this corner leads to a very long straight. So what we have to do is, as I said, keep it on the right and do a wider entry, trail braking the car heavily, and try to hit a later apex. So we can back on the throttle early, but since he doesn't have a wide entry, he's here and still have to rotate the car like 60% of the corner. His throttle application makes the car understeer, so he cannot bring as much speed through the corner as he can. So basically it will be like coming in, trail brake rotating here, and back on the throttle from this point. So you should keep your car wider and approach from this angle. And then, oops, that way you can be back on the throttle much earlier. Here you can save a tiny bit of speed if you, not scraping your front tires, if you keep it longer to the right and do a more gentle turning. Again, track usage. The issue is not that he's not at the edge of the track, like here, because usually people are not there. The issue is he is facing away from the track. So what we do here for this corner, if I can go up again. Hold on a second, I can go up. Wait. Why it's not available here? Okay, that's weird. So the problem with this corner is that the braking zone is basically starting. Go away. Basically starting at this white line somewhere or around the edge of this tarmac. And the corner has a slight angle at the braking zone. And we want to brake straight as much as we can. So what he does is he's in the middle of the track, which would be fine. I will show you why. But he is facing this direction. What we want to do is come wide at the entry. Come wide at the entry. Turning a bit slightly here before the braking and not facing outwards. Like, can I do lines? Yeah, I can do line. Like he's facing this way. And the optimal line is at the beginning of braking would be like this way. You can see that the angle is we have to rotate much less with the green line than with the red line. So keep it wide, start to come in and brake parallel to the middle part of the track, basically. Maybe I'll show it from the inside. So keep it to the left, like you are going straight. You have time to go left. Go to the left and prepare your corner so you can brake at this point this way, not this way. Because as you can see at the entry, you have to slow down more. You don't have a wide entry. And we are missing the apex also due to that, like it's not optimal entry. He's back on the throttle before finishing the rotation. The sausage, it was sort of okay. He could be a bit more aggressive, but I understand why he wasn't. Being back on the throttle at the apex, that's fine. And last corner, again, he turns in a bit too early. This is another late apex corner because it leads to a very, very long straight. So we also track usage was not fully optimal. The right arch should be here on the red white strip. And what we do is brake a bit before the 50 board. Keep it wide with your right tires and try to turn in sharply with trail braking. Like not that much, of course, but like this much. So we can back on the throttle very early to have a very good exit. The exit, like our angle should be like this, not this. Because at this point we should be back on the throttle while finishing most of the rotation, and at the exit you can use a tiny bit more, but he used quite a lot, so that was fine. So let's watch it one more time. E1 was fine-ish. Bit more exit here. Later turning and more sharp turning, so we can be back on the throttle stabilizing the car. Like you can gain surprising amount of time in this short section after the sunset. Not enough track usage. This corner was decent. You can cut the curb a bit more aggressively and be a bit gentle here, so not killing your front tires. A lot more track usage on the right. Trail brake for a later-ish apex, like we should have the apex, like at this point not facing this, but the car should face like this. So we can back on the throttle way earlier. horizontal here. Keep turning to the left to set up the last corner better, and keep it wider, then have a late-ish apex, be back on the throttle super early. And like super late apex here, and very early back on the throttle. That's it. Otherwise it was decent-ish laps, like small things. Track usage will be the biggest factor of shaving of time here. And let's watch the other lap. I don't know which lap is the fastest. The last one, okay. Watch it as a whole first. Also, Mike's inputs were quite decent. Like, he was trail braking nicely. Okay. First issue is the braking. You were on the brake 100, basically only this corner, but not for long. You were starting to bleed off. Like, also, like, the braking is very weird. That noise or fluctuating, I think, is not good for your performance, because that will make the car a bit like unsettled. Turn one was all right up to this point, but as you can see, the brake release is way too quick. So what you should do is, okay, come here, like releasing some of the brake pressure for turning in, that's fine. But at this point, your brake should be like not really like this, like much more slower, like half a second. Turn 2, you can be much more aggressive. Like, you don't have to, at this point you should aim straight already. You don't have to corner this much, like not straight, but like at this point. So you were rotating the car a bit too much, because we want to put our right tire just right on the tarmac, and that way we can avoid that small sausage. As you can see, he goes too much to the right and drifts a bit wide. Also at the exit, he is giving up too much of the exit of turn 2. Usually people go around like People do so. This comes from the too much turn in from this corner. If let me go up again. So his line is oh, I know why I cannot. Yeah, there it is. Just was covered. Hey, Jakob. I think this is your replay. So your line was like going wide-ish, then turning and turning in too much and going here. Why the optimal line is like cutting much more gently, but much more, and drifting a bit wider at the exit and just coming back to like half to the track. So he basically turns too much for this corner. He should straighten it much more. Could be, yeah. Still, the line is a line. So like less turning in for entering this corner and much less, so not hugging the corner that much. Basically drifting much wider will result you much more speed. Here it was fine, like some lift off, being back on the throttle nicely. And this corner is so too abrupt brake release again. You should brake with 100% at the beginning, like up to this point basically. Let the ABS rotate the car this much. And from this point you want to do a small bleed and rotate the car with like 10 to 20% braking. So around this much, fluctuating between this much. And that way you can bring more speed. Yeah, that could happen. Bring more speed into the corner. Also, like the more understeer the car, the more trail braking you have to do because you have to rotate the car with trail braking. So rotate the car with trail braking. Be patient. Probably with my setup, you cannot be back on the throttle that early because it would understeer a bit. Here, there was some... Why I have to go to the wrong way? There was some track usage issues. Your right tire should be here. Like, this is a very sharp corner, so use all the... Well, in every corner, but especially this one. And I usually brake at this point where this rubbering starts. After that, the issue was this. He felt like he does not have enough speed, so he gave a throttle blip. This is a huge detriment for your lap time. If you have to blip your throttle during the cornering, you did not brake enough speed and you did not rotate the car enough with trail braking. So brake later and rotate it with the brake, and then be patient and only be on the throttle when you are coming out from the corner. Yeah, the braking point is very hard to see, especially in this lighting. I can see it like there are time marks here and they start here. That's the braking point. But this is a very hard to judge braking corner. Still go as wide as you can, brake straighter a bit, and trail brake, rotate the car in like this way for a late apex. So you should be coming to the corner at this angle and being back on the throttle, like I think around that point when you start to see that crowded area thing. You can use much more at the exit. The throttle beep won't rotate the car more because you won't get oversteer from that small throttle blip, but you will have understeer due to loading the rear. Track usage was almost good. You have one car wave there. That brake blip was like, it should have been a slow release and some trail braking, not playing with the brake that much. Yeah, you felt like you were too slow because you did not broke enough speed and did not rotate the car with trail braking. That's it. This corner was decent. Should have a small brake if you would have a better entry from the last one. Track usage again, your right tire should be here. And so throttle blip again, killing the rotation. And after that, like when you still rotating this much and back on the throttle, you are not accelerating too much because the TC will interrupt. What you want to do is, so what you do is a geometric line in a very sharp corner. Let's go even a bit wider. So you are here. Here. Missing the apex a bit. Oh, come on. What happened? Okay. And basically exiting the corner here. So as you can see, you have a geometric line, which is like this. What you want here is a slight V-shaped line. So you come in wide, you cut close to the apex, rotate the car a lot here at the apex, and basically accelerate out right. That way you can be back on the throttle somewhere here, while at this point you will be back on the throttle here, but the TC will cut in until here. If you do this V-shaped line, like rotating with the trail braking, you can brake later because you can brake straight up until this point, not this point. And you can be back on the throttle earlier because you can accelerate straight from this point, not until this point. So you will have a bit less cornering speed, but you will gain much more time in the entry and exit. Cutting was right, and here you played a lot with your brake and brake and throttle, because you felt like you did not have enough rotation. So what you have to do is come in, not brake fully, so don't bleed all your speed at the entry, just brake like 40 to 10%. Do it until around half of the corner. Wait a bit to finish the rotation and be back on the throttle when you can be back on the throttle properly. And that way you will not have this line, but you will have this line because you did a slight V-shape again. On this corner, I usually not brake before it, but I turn in and brake around this part of the corner, and not with full brake, just like trail braking 60-70%. Then you bring much more speed, keep it wider at the exit, go back to the right. You are on the brake a bit early. Sacrificing the first corner was okay, but you turned into the right too early and had to correct because you were on this trajectory with your right tire. So you should turn in a bit later and be very hard on the throttle to maximize the exit speed. So that was the lap. So brake 100% in the straight. Do much softer brake releases. Don't play with the brake and throttle, like blipping it during turning. If you have to blip the throttle, you did not brought enough speed. If you have to play with the brake, then do a proper trail braking, not like 100% 100% 0, because that will just introduce understeer, while trail braking will gradually load the front end, will introduce rotation. Entry was used nicely. You should have trail brake like this point. This was decent. More track usage, bit more V-shape, more patience, not playing with the throttle. Here again, not fully braking to bleed all the speed, just use the brake to rotate the car. Only trail brake here and in the corner, keep it a bit wider, go much to the right. Left was okay. Be more patient. You were turning to the right too early. I know it's hard on monitors because you cannot see the apex, but you have to learn that. And the last corner is just flat out. I think that's it. Alright, gents. That was it then. I hope you learned a few things. And if you think it's like a good way to analyze replays this way, then I will do it more time. Probably or hopefully next time I will have a bit more replays. It was like a late idea today, so thanks, Jakob, for sending your replay. Hopefully you learned from it and like understood why I said what I said and why. And have a lovely day and Mumvali Hungaroring on Discord. I have a replay for I have a setup for Hungaroring on YouTube. Yeah. Also, like if you don't find the setups easily on Discord, there's a useful link for my spreadsheet. And on the spreadsheet there, in the first page, there is at the top right, there is a another spreadsheet in the spreadsheet with all the links for every car and track I release the setups. So that's the fastest way to find them. You're welcome. If there's no other question, then I will finish this short stream, and hopefully like next time there will be a bit more replays. And have a lovely evening. Goodbye.